When it comes to SEO success, should you publish a lot of articles or just a couple articles and make them very good? I think you need to do both. Here's why. So this morning, I posted a tweet that said one like is equal to one new article that blows up. And I got I got a question by Christian that was, how do you decide on topics for articles that might blow up? And I just wanted to answer this and add some more context. And what the process usually looks like is that we will do keyword research. So I'm just trying to get a sense of what are people interested in, what are people actually searching, which words are they actually using when they're searching for something. For example, this article is an article for our speech tool that writes wedding speeches. And so this is a blog post that just shows example speeches and for a certain persona. So this is father of the groom. So it's the father of the groom that has to hold a speech at a lot of weddings. And they're looking for examples, inspiration, etc. And so that is quite obvious. That will be father of the groom examples, right? That will be like the target keyword for that page. And that is also what this page is optimized around. But by plugging this into a keyword research tool, I can also get other ideas related to that in the same cluster. So, for example, with father of the groom, a short tail variation of that will be father of the groom's speech. Right? And then it will be like father of the groom's speech funny, or father of the groom's speech emotional or short, or any kind of modifier that makes sense. And by purely plugging this into our own tool that's called SwiftBrief, or any other keyword clustering tool and research tool, you can get all the related clusters under that. And then you can check and kind of cherry pick based off of three things. Keyword research in itself is like a broader topic, so I wouldn't necessarily want to touch on this now. I'll make a separate video about this if this video gets a lot of interest. And yeah, it's basically volume. So like how many people are searching this, which is volume and traffic, right? So like how much impact does this have for me if I would be able to rank for this keyword? The competition, so like how many other players are in the space and how strong are their domains. So looking at DR and looking at the number of results on the SERP, for example. And so while I can rank for, I don't know, potato gun or something, just as an example, it's probably very hard to rank for. I can, that wouldn't give me any sales, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sell something. I'm trying to sell wedding speeches. So anything that is not relevant to my brand or what I'm trying to achieve, but has high volume, has very low chance at conversion, which makes it uninteresting, even if I could rank for it. You can try to go for these, but I think it's just a waste of time if you're trying to sell. If you're trying to monetize via ads or something like that, and it's all about like clicks and impressions on your page, then it's possible. But yeah, I'm not gonna, that's not a kind of business I'm running, basically. All right. So after keyword research, we're trying to publish fast. So we're not trying to take a long time to, like 2 weeks or something to write an article. These will be also with SwiftBrief directly written within SwiftBrief, and then will be manually edited a bit. Then we wait for data, which is usually like 2 weeks. You can see here, that it goes kind of in batches, right? So basically I wait for data and I want to see, can I actually get traction here, right? Like I can make an educated guess because of the keyword research, but a lot of this is estimates. No keyword research tool is perfect. So you would want to get real data from Google Search Console, which is the closest you can get, right, to the source, if you're doing Google search at least. And you want to see, is that actually true? Is there traffic? Am I getting the traffic? Am I actually out competing others? And how much can I get, right? So that will take around 2 weeks, depending on how authoritative your domain is, how much crawling budget you get. So there's a lot of like intricacies, but I use 2 weeks. And then I make some changes. A lot of times that might be a full refresh. So just rerunning the thing in SwiftBrief if there have been a lot of changes, like we're constantly updating the outlines and briefs and content in SwiftBrief. So sometimes I just rerun it completely. Other times I just go in and I add custom images, more internal linking. I use for this one, or we use WordPress for this one. And there's this plugin called Yoast, which I just go in and I just look at it and see where we're not scoring well yet. So it gives you like an analysis. And yeah, I just try to, that's the lowest hanging fruit. You just do that. And a lot of times the stuff that comes out of Surf Brief will already be like pretty good, like 80+% there. But just a little bit of manual editing always helps. And I think that's why all these purely autopilot, tools are, promising you the world, but they're not necessarily delivering, at least as of now. And it's always good to have someone in the loop that actually looks at what's going out there. But that's just a note on the side. So now I'll wait for another 2 weeks, and then I'll repeat, step 4. So going in, making changes, that will very much depend on what we're lacking. Are we, is the CTR bad, or is the position bad, or are we just, are people not converting? Because this is just the search aspect of it, right? So this is just like on Google search. But then, for example, where I spend a lot of my time, and then I will look at, okay, what is actually the conversion, let's say, from this blog post to the next step in the funnel, which is people going onto the tool where they can actually create their speech and then buy the speech, which is that is what the revenue component is as of now. Like, we're trying to diversify this, but that's where it's at. And looking at, okay, how much traffic are we getting onto the tool from each blog post, right? And you can see fairly easily here, like which ones are underperforming. For example, this one gets 400 clicks as a blog post, but only 2.4% of those people end up actually on the tool. So they're very, very unlikely to buy. And what you can see here as well, and often changes will be related to this, not necessarily on the SERP, because we're doing so like on the search engine results page, but we are usually doing quite well with a lot of those, especially these example posts have been doing quite well, as you can see. Yeah, it's 80-20, right? So I can go in and I can spend a lot of time like optimizing this, but I'm probably not going to move the needle like a lot. And so I'd rather see where there's opportunity in improving conversion rate, or then improving conversion rate on the tool. So it's not always just about, are we ranking, how much is going in there, but also like how much does that impact the bottom line. And so another thing you can see here, which is why I think once you have an article that does perform well, and that kind of loops back to the beginning, where it's like, should you publish fast and a lot, or should you spend months on like one article, make it really perfect? So once you have something, because again, SEO is 80-20, or maybe even 90-10, right? So you can see that in total, the traffic of these pages here, and it's 70 pages, is 16,000, but first 10 or 11, they pull in like 12,000, right? So that's 12,000 out of 16,000, which means it's 75% in the first 10 pages, right? Which is 14% of the pages, right? So that is basically what I was just saying. So if you have something that performs and there is still room, right? Like, you don't want to overdo it, but you should go into that post and make sure that you get the most out of it in terms of thinking 80-20, instead of, putting that out there. What a lot of people are doing, they just put a lot of content out there. They think it will just automatically, for some reason, start to rank, and it just doesn't, or it like ranks, but it ranks on like 50 or something. And so that's not what it's all about. It's not about just like volume, right? But why you need volume and why you need to publish fast is because you don't know which of these posts are going to actually get traffic and which of them are going to impact the bottom line. You can make educated guesses, and the better you can get at making educated guesses, the better you will be at producing the right content up front, knowing that it will work, but you can never know. And then it's all about like doubling down on what works and then going deep. So to summarize, when it comes to content, cast a wide net in the beginning and then hone in on the winners. It's very similar to any other kind of marketing or advertising or whatever, right? So we want to find the winners, and that we can do by shooting a lot of shots and then doubling down on the winners, right? So yeah, if any of that stuff sounds interesting to you, the more people subscribe and like and comment on the channel, the more videos I'm going to make, just to make sure that I don't waste my time, because I have other stuff to do as well. So yeah, always love to hear from you, where you are in your journey, and I'll see you in the next video.